Nobody can buy me. Nobody can bully me. Nobody can tell me what to say. You want some evidence of that? Elon Musk. All right? Elon Musk, who was holding out offers potentially of very large sums of money, not for me, but for the party. But he asked me to do a series of things, to say a series of things.
What happened with Elon, by the way? Why did you fall out?
Because he wanted me to come out publicly and support Tommy Robinson. And I said, I can't do that. I said, he wanted me to come out and talk about deportations of illegals before we had a plan.
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Have you or anyone from Reform UK been in touch with Elon Musk about his tweets on UK politics in recent days?
I haven't spoken to him for some time, a few days. He's tweeting about everything. He's tweeting about farming, he's tweeting about Keir Starmer's competence, he's tweeting about Tommy Robinson, he's tweeting about me, Reform UK. He has a whole range of opinions, some of which I agree with very strongly, and others of which I'm more reticent about. Oh, having him as a supporter is very helpful to our cause. I mean, goodness me. I mean, he's an absolute hero figure, particularly to young people in this country. So yes, he's very helpful indeed. Now look, everyone says, well, what about his comments on Tommy Robinson? Look, my position is perfectly clear on that. I never wanted Tommy Robinson to join UKIP. I don't want him to join Reform UK, and he won't be.
Is the bromance back on?
Well, look, as far as Musk is concerned, we're in talks. We're perfectly friendly. We have different views on some things, but Martin, I don't get pushed around by anybody, not even the richest man in the world. I know what I believe in. I know what my principles are. We're on good, friendly terms.
The tinderbox summer of protests promised by activists never truly caught flame. Instead, a slow burn of nationalism, maybe more powerful for it, and this was the culmination. More than 100,000 people gathering to march in central London, a sea of flags. Unite the Kingdom was the all-encompassing slogan, drawn widely enough to mean different things for different people, whether that was free speech or immigration.
Why are they coming in like that? Surely that's wrong. Why I wouldn't skip on a boat and go to another country and hop off and expect to be looked after, but apart from that, this is just United Kingdom.
Just to stand up for what I believe in. Yeah. We're losing identity of our country, and somebody needs to stand up and fight for it.
People may have had different reasons, but they came for the same person. At the centre of it all, the anti-Islam activist Tommy Robinson.
Here at the front of March, Tommy Robinson's just there, thick throng of security, heavily protected, giving a lot of cheers, a lot of waves. This march extends a very, very long way behind us. A huge number of people who've turned out today behind that man, Tommy Robinson.
None of his previous rallies had drawn a crowd this big. And what's newer too is the overt displays of Christian nationalism. When the crowd assembled, they were led in a chant of Christ as King, and then the Lord's Prayer.
Hallowed be thy name.
As the heavens opened. 4 giant screens were set up along Whitehall. Organisers said the area was completely full. When Robinson took the stage, it was more like a football match or a festival than a political rally.
We weathered the storm, and today we are the storm.
And that's not much of an exaggeration. Not when Elon Musk, the world's richest man, made a virtual appearance to back Robinson.
Support for Robinson doesn't mean total agreement with him, though.
When he's talking about, he uses language sometimes, like that speech he said, traitors in Westminster. Do you agree with that?
Not necessarily, but I do think he has a good point with some of the things he has come up with, some of the things he has spoken about, the things he's got evidence with.
And it's clear that simply writing off protesters as far-right thugs doesn't really capture what's going on either.
My mum has been telling me about this march, and I really wanted to go and support London.
This was certainly the largest nationalist rally in recent memory. For those here, it was not just the cap to a long summer of discontent, but the start of something bigger. Tom Cheshire, Sky News, Whitehall.
Britain underneath. The uncomfortable truth about Nigel Farage, Reform UK, and the pressure from the right. Welcome back to Britain Underneath, where we look straight beneath the surface of British politics to uncover the shifts shaping our nation. Before we dive deep into this crucial analysis, take a second to hit that subscribe button for Britain Underneath. It truly helps this channel continue bringing you calm, sharp, and mature commentary on the issues mainstream broadcasts prefer to skirt around. Take a breath, stay informed, and make sure you stick with us right until the very end of this video, because the dynamic unfolding right now between Nigel Farage and the broader populist movement will redefine Westminster for years to come. The political landscape across the United Kingdom is undergoing a profound transformation. For decades, British politics operated on a predictable swing between two dominant establishments. Today, that old dynamic feels distant. Reform UK has steadily shifted from a fringe protest platform into a formidable political force, capable of completely redrawing the electoral map. With Nigel Farage cementing his presence in Parliament and recently securing a crucial by-election victory to reaffirm his baseline support, the conversation has irrevocably shifted. The question is no longer whether populist right-leaning politics can command majorities. The question is whether Farage himself possesses the staying power and conviction required to carry that mantle all the way to 10 Downing Street. To understand where Britain might be heading, one must examine the friction brewing within the very movement driving this political surge. A key window into this tension emerged when prominent anti-immigration campaigner Tommy Robinson addressed an international gathering in Tel Aviv. Speaking to a packed audience that included government representatives, Robinson made a striking prediction. He declared plainly that Reform UK is poised to win Britain's next general election. On paper, such an endorsement from a veteran grassroots activist might seem like a straightforward sign of momentum. Yet embedded within that prediction was a sharp, uncomfortable critique of Farage's personal credibility. Robinson argued that while Reform UK represents the most viable vehicle for political disruption, Nigel Farage remains a leader governed by political pragmatism rather than unyielding ideology. In his words, Farage is the best option currently available, but one who will naturally float whichever way the political wind blows, unless constantly pressured by public opinion. Robinson highlighted past statements where Farage cautioned against alienating Britain's established communities, framing such caution as a sign of compromise before the battle has even reached its peak. This critique reveals a crucial divide beneath the surface of the populist revival. The gap between constitutional political figures who seek power through parliamentary legitimacy and unyielding street-level campaigners who demand absolute ideological commitment. This tension touches on the very core of British governance. Nigel Farage has spent over 30 years navigating the fine line between revolutionary rhetoric and mainstream political survival. In his words, Farage is the best option currently available, but one who will naturally float whichever way the political wind blows, unless constantly pressured by public opinion. Robinson highlighted past statements where Farage cautioned against alienating Britain's established communities, framing such caution as a sign of compromise before the battle has even reached its peak. This critique reveals a crucial divide beneath the surface of the populist revival, the gap between constitutional political figures who seek power through parliamentary legitimacy and unyielding street-level campaigners who demand absolute ideological commitment. This tension touches on the very core of British governance. Nigel Farage has spent over 30 years navigating the fine line between revolutionary rhetoric and mainstream political survival. Activists argue that Farage's instinct to play by mainstream rules risks diluting the core message that brought millions of disillusioned voters to his side in the first place. They view his cautious approach to sensitive social dynamics as an unnecessary concession to the political status quo. This puts Farage in a delicate position. If he moves too far toward uncompromising grassroots demands, he risks alienating the moderate voters required to build a national parliamentary majority. If he remains too central, he risks losing the raw, enthusiastic backing that fueled his rise. If you are appreciating this deep, balanced dive into British political dynamics, please take a brief moment to subscribe to Britain Underneath right now. Your subscription directly supports independent, serious commentary and ensures you never miss our detailed breakdown of current affairs. The broader backdrop to this internal debate is a country facing genuine structural strain. Frustration regarding migration policy, economic stagnation, and institutional distrust has reached levels not seen in generations. Mainstream institutions often struggle to address these concerns without falling back on conventional talking points, leaving vast sections of the public feeling utterly unrepresented. This environment creates the exact conditions where alternative movements thrive. Whether in public halls or across local communities, the appetite for radical policy shifts is palpable. As we trace the path toward the next general election, the real test for Nigel Farage will be maintaining control over the movement he helped create. The recent electoral gains demonstrate that the British electorate is increasingly willing to break away from traditional party lines. Yet, holding a political coalition together under intense public and parliamentary scrutiny is vastly different from leading a campaign of disruption. The doubts raised by figures on the ideological outer edge underscore the constant balancing act Farage must perform as he attempts to convert momentum into genuine executive governance. Britain stands at a critical historical junction. The political norms of the past 20 years are dissolving, replaced by an era defined by voter volatility and shifting loyalties. Whether Reform UK ultimately paves the way to Downing Street or serves as the catalyst for a broader realigning of British conservatism will depend entirely on how these internal and external pressures are managed. One thing remains entirely clear. The conversation surrounding Britain's political future is being rewritten from the ground up. Thank you for watching Britain Underneath. Subscribe today to stay ahead of the narrative. Take a breath and return for our next deep analysis.